the consequences of a relationship with a narcissist. In this video, we'll talk about the consequences that a woman might face after her relationship with a narcissist has ended. So, the first one, emotional, exhaustion and loss of self-esteem. All the narcissist did in the relationship was tear down his partner, breaking the victim apart. He elevated himself at the expense of his partner through criticism, ignoring her achievements and making comparisons. In other words, he would tell her things like, "You're just not right, you're ugly, you're not needed by anyone. This isn't good about you, and that isn't good either, you're not worthy of this or that." He criticized everything she did. He talked about how she couldn't do anything. For example, she cooked a delicious dinner for him, but the dinner was always tasteless, according to him. She tried to dress up, to tidy herself up, but she still didn't look good enough. Beautiful. Everything was lacking. Comparisons were made like, "Well, my ex looked way better," or, the wife. Or, "Girlfriend of my friend looks so much better than you." The attraction of third parties and comparisons with them often destroy a woman's self-esteem. And over time, the woman comes to terms with the fact that she is somehow not like that. And at some point, she even begins to think about how lucky she is to have such a man next to her, because she really won't be with anyone else. Needed. All her achievements, which she tried to share or take pride in, were completely dismissed. So it's like it's not even an achievement at all. And this kind of negative pressure, it made the woman think that she was somehow inadequate, not quite right. And naturally, she developed a feeling of insignificance, that she was somehow small, insignificant. And here she is next to such a wonderful man, and she feels like just a plus one beside him. And this is where self-doubt and feelings of emotional chaos were born, due to the endless emotional swings in the relationship, sometimes good, sometimes bad. The woman is emotionally exhausted. She experienced love, rejection, and a huge number of other polar emotions. And she feels like a squeezed lemon. Emotionally, she feels really empty. And then there's the psychological trauma, which is another consequence of being in a relationship with a narcissist. A narcissist often uses this technique where he says, for example, certain words and then says that he did not do it. What did you notice that he twisted around, something that actually happened differently? Facts distorts events in order to make the victim doubt his own adequacy. At some point, a woman begins to think that she really does misunderstand everything and sees things incorrectly, and her self-confidence is completely shattered. A narcissist, for example, might say that he never said things that way. She's always to blame. So any events are twisted around in a way that makes her always at fault. At the slightest thing, he uses silence and ignores her. And that's really important. And these techniques that a narcissist uses in relationships destroy a person from the inside. And often this psychological trauma needs to be worked through. Otherwise, it prevents a woman from building any kind of relationship in the future. And it often takes a long time to recover, because the woman is so exhausted by such a relationship that she has even forgotten who she is and what she wants. They just destroyed her from the inside. Next, physical consequences. Since she was on an emotional roller coaster all the time, constantly stressed out, her body was often producing cortisol because of the ongoing tension, and cortisol really overloads the nervous system. So the nervous system is really overloaded. On top of that, there are sleepless nights from all the worries and thoughts, and there are issues with nutrition, and this can even lead to some kind of illness. That is, it could be some kind of cardiovascular disease, a gastrointestinal disease. So stress often affects those organs. Plus, immunity is also reduced. That is, a woman can constantly catch a cold. She can have a constant one. She doesn't understand why this is happening. It's all because her nervous system is drained and overloaded, and a woman can feel chronically tired. She goes to bed, but she wakes up feeling tired. This all points to accumulated stress. This all points to emotional overload. When a woman meets a narcissist, he does everything he can to destroy all her connections to the outside world. In order to, it was easier to control her and manage her. And often, a woman who has been in a long-term relationship with a narcissist finds herself alone. She destroyed her relationships with close ones, friends, relatives, and girlfriends because she was under constant pressure like that. The narcissist kept saying, "Oh, She wishes you bad. And look, she did this and that. Due to the fact that a narcissist can twist facts, distort everything, invent, and do not disdain any dirty methods. He could have simply made up a lot of things and turned the woman against her friends, relatives, and acquaintances. And in the end, she was left alone, with no support. There's no one to back her up. Plus, during her relationship with the narcissist, she developed a breakdown in social skills. She has forgotten how to communicate with other people. She has forgotten herself. She does not understand who she is, and she no longer knows how to build relationships, how to communicate, how to be friends. She needs to get herself together and start her life from scratch, remembering who she is, learning everything all over again, working on her self-esteem, and boosting her self-worth so she can live a better life. And the last consequence is that it's really important. This is the difficulty in future relationships. Since the woman has been really burned, she may have experienced psychological trauma. And in most cases, that's exactly what happens. And now this woman just can't relax. When a woman meets a man, she will look at him, let's say, through a magnifying glass. Because trauma leaves a mark on trust in people and relationships with them. That is, if before she would not have paid attention to something, now she is hypervigilant. Right now, certain moments that come up, similar moments in her subconscious, seem dangerous to her. It's hard for her to build relationships with another person now. She might stay single to avoid feeling pain in the future. She can also attract her relationships, again, since her self-esteem is very low. And now a tyrant or an abuser could easily be drawn to a woman like that. Therefore, if you understand that you have gone through such a difficult relationship, a relationship with a narcissist, you need to collect yourself again bit by bit. You need to let go of that difficult experience. You need to raise your self-esteem, work on yourself, learning to trust people. And it's actually a really tough process. The first thing you need to do is to try to restore your inner feeling, to love life, to love yourself, to feel life differently. So for a while, it's better not to start any relationships, to figure out who you are, what kind of relationships you deserve, and what kind of person should be by your side. And further, work on yourself and on boosting your self-esteem. Ask yourself the question, why did I end up in such relationships? Why did I go through this experience? And why did I allow myself to be treated that way at times? The questions you ask yourself and the honest answers you give. A lot will help you and guide you in the direction you need to go. That's all I have for this video. It was me, Elisa Vardomskaya, with you. I hope for your likes and subscriptions. Leave a comment about what you'd like to discuss in my new videos. Don't forget to hit the bell icon. And goodbye, everyone.